welcome to Blackfeather Guild. Before we go in and say hi to the cast and get started with the show, I wanted to talk very briefly about viewer actions and a little bit about sponsors. So first off, there's a number of ways that you can actually actively participate in the show through viewer actions. One of the easiest ways to do so is through retweeting the game tweet. You should see that somewhere in chat if it's not in there already. But you just click on that link and hit retweet, and for every 5 retweets that we get on that, it will add a bonus to the cast pool and the game master pool. Now, in most cases, that's going to be an extra d6 that they can add on to any roll. Basically, a great way to use that is if a player is almost meeting a DC, but they're just not quite there, they can grab one of those d6s from the cast pool, roll that, and then add that to their roll. Basically, is how that works. Same with the GM. So that's one of the easiest ways that you can participate that way. Another way is through guild coins. That's our Twitch channel points. If you look at the rainbow colored icon, it should have the Blackfeather Guild crest on it. It should be right below your Twitch chat box. If you click on that, it'll show you all the different things that you can get with those. The biggest one being plot points. Now, plot points, you can see an example right over here. They all work pretty much the same way. It's just a matter of how big of an impact they have. So for the example, when we've got 2 plot points, the player of your choice gets something moderately helpful or unhelpful. Enter any suggestions for the GM into chat, or you can have the GM come up with something entirely on their own. So just choose if you want it to be helpful or unhelpful to the party, and that's kind of how you can use them. You can throw in your own suggestions as well. How those work: 1 plot point is something trivially helpful or unhelpful. 2 is moderately. 3 is very, and 4 is very to the entire party. So if you want to do something to help the entire party or really throw a monkey wrench in their plans, 4 plot points will do that. So that's guild coins. And then finally, we've got donations. So if you want to help out with keeping the lights on in the place, so to speak, there's a number of ways that you can financially contribute. One of those being coffee.com/Raven or raven.rocks. You can see both of those examples down there at the bottom. Those are the addresses to do direct donations. You can also do Twitch subscriptions or bits. Those work the same way. And then finally, Patreon. We've got a Patreon, which you should see in chat here any second if it's not there already. And our Bard tier patrons and higher get credits towards viewer actions every month that they can use on any show that they would like. You just have to let us know in chat how you want to spend those, and then we'll hand those out. So some very cool stuff. Before we hop over to see the cast, one last thing to mention is a couple things on this chart here. We've already covered the D6 and the plot points, but the triple crits, what that means is you can gift auto critical successes. And you can, it's triple because you get 3. You can divvy those out however you'd like. You can do 2 to the cast, 1 to the game master, all of them to the game master, however you want to do it. So they work much like the D6s. The cast members just grab that when they're available and they really need them and use them. So it's pretty cool. And then finally, the last one, introduce an ally or enemy NPC. Just give us a brief description of what you want this character to look like, kind of their character concept and a name, and let us know if you want it to be an enemy or an ally to the party, and the GM will basically take that and run with it. So really cool ways that you can participate. Lastly, I just want to take a quick moment to mention our sponsors. If you look at the logos down below, that's who's sponsoring this episode, and we'll talk a little bit about that before we introduce everybody as well on the next scene. So yeah, check all this stuff out and thank them for supporting us, and thank you for being here and watching. Let's go say hi to the cast. Hello, we're back with more Neon Devils. Um, really excited to get back into the game and find out what happens this week. Before we do jump into all the action and pass it off to Yaz, we'll do some quick introductions of everybody. So I'll go first. I'm Raven. I'm the creative director for the Raven Evermore, which includes things like graphic art and design and tabletop design and game mastering, voice acting, a whole bunch of stuff. You can find out all about that at my Twitter, which is right below my face. And then I play Kat. She is a supernatural detective slash um, like warlock type character, I guess. She does a lot of magic and she's kind of quirky, but she's a lot of fun. Yeah, that's me. We'll pass it on over to Paladin. Tell us a little bit about Daniel and yourself.
Hi, I'm gonna vamp a little to give our friend a little more time to rejoin Zoom, but I also have time to tell you that I'm Paladin Hulk, Twitch moderator for Random Tuesday, Little Red Dot, and the Starwood Initiative. And today, as always, I will be playing Daniel Vanderveer, cop, ex-husband, still a father, even though I'm not her biological father. And my daughter's been kidnapped, y'all, by some weird, creepy, monstrous, you know, beings that are undefined.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know. It's weird. And we're gonna go save her, hopefully, in some way. But first, a stop at a gambling casino type place.
Yeah,
Stress.
I know, it's super weird.
Kat had to get another bag of tacos.
We also stopped for tacos, because, priorities.
Exactly.
What did you get me
Awesome. I mean, Kat will probably share.
Sharing is caring.
So,
On that note, Par, tell us a little bit about James and yourself.
oh hi, I'm Par. Currently going through a rebrand. I went from Parlanderish 4E to Mr. Par. You can see how one is really nice and easy to say and just more aesthetically sounding and pleasing to the ear. Let me tell you something. Best decision I've made this year.
Do we have to call you sir now, mister?
No. You can just call me Par.
Okay.
It's nice and easy. Rolls off the tongue.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, that's pretty much all that's going on with me right now. Still constructing. As for James Cook is the, I think, youngest of the officers. Yeah, he's only 26, so yeah, I think the youngest of the officers. Also, the most controversial of the officers. Got a lot of enemies.
I mean, you've got some competition on that front.
I hope so. let me tell you, I hope so. Because having a fellow detective that's out for me and never lets me get my work done completely, and having a criminal mastermind that's just gunning for me, not fun.
Anyone who calls himself a mastermind is kind of a ditz, so.
I hope so.
Ooh, I'm so smart.
I hope so.
Sure you are, buddy.
I don't know what Yaz has done with him. I don't know. Using the crooked playbook. Wow. Okay, I just keep going. My mouth keeps moving. It's not ending,
That's
folks.
cool.
Using the crooked playbook for Monsters Week. I am just I am sort of the bad cop. Or I guess the rebel cop.
Yeah, I think Daniel and Tabitha are probably the only ones that seem to really stick to the rules pretty heavily.
Mm-hmm.
Then James and Kat are just screw the rules, but for different reasons.
All right, then I grab him. No, you're not allowed to do that, James. That's not part of protocol. No, I grab him right here. If you grab someone right here and just hold this bit right on this pressure point.
And Kat's just just turn him into a newt. Dev's like, you can't turn them into a nude at all. That's even worse.
James,
What?
please, that's just not. It's not allowed.
I mean, there are worse ways. There are definitely worse ways.
We are talking about the cops, so yeah.
Thank
Too real. Too
Thanks,
real.
Michael, for that gifted sub to Paladin. Thanks so
I
much.
got a gift.
I should
Thanks,
actually
buddy.
get in the chat, huh?
And then I guess, Yaz, while we're waiting on Nate to pop back in, tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I'm Yasmin. I am a DM and graphic designer and fantasy illustrator. That's really it. I just art, lots of art and storytelling of any kind, and I'm super excited to be storytelling with you guys. I'll put my website here in the chat. I actually just uploaded a Game Master canvas boots to my website. So if anybody's interested in some fancy, albeit mildly expensive, gamer boots, you can find those there.
That's
No
awesome.
gamers, always walking
Gamer
around.
boots.
Yeah.
And I
Feel
can
free
also
to-
do. Oh, go on.
I was gonna say, feel free to throw a link to those in chat. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
I'd be happy to.
I'm
Here
ready to
y'all
click it
go.
right now. There you go.
Some
Clicking it.
some would say the most beautiful around.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Oh, those are neat.
beautiful. But you can see what I mean when I'm like, I actually need a few more masculine designs in my arsenal there.
Yeah,
'Cause I
those
really-
don't look like they would be worn by Captain N, the
No.
game master.
No, they would not be. But I guess I can do a recap while we're waiting for Nate to rejoin us,
Yes, please.
because most of this information is very pertinent to James Cook, at least the first half of our game of our recap is. So once our team was all finished, sorry, I'm pulling up my notes just to make sure that I don't miss anything. Once our team was all finished getting everything together after speaking with Gabby in the apartment and finding out where to go next, our team left the apartment building and walked immediately into open fire, gunfire. And there was a car that had 4 or 5 people in it that had opened fire on them as soon as the door opened, and our team jumped immediately into action. We got to see Margot shapeshift for the first time, and it might have spooked Daniel a little bit. All in all, our team was able to very violently stop what was going on and the fight. And when they tried to run, Marco chased them down, jumped on the car, and ripped the top of the roof off, which was pretty dang awesome.
It was.
They tried to call the old Los Angeles department, or not department, but the like the small team that presides over the law enforcement there, and they took forever to respond. But eventually Tabitha was able to get through and to get assistance on site and apprehend the criminals that were still alive, to find out that it was a hit that had been put on them, put on James Cook from the Aswang gang. But specifically, one of the names slipped out during the future when James Cook was speaking with them and working through it, that it was a hit put out from Uther Abellum, who had found out that you were back in old Los Angeles. So that's the first half of the recap. So you can sit and stew on that for a hot minute. Uh, um, but our team continued. James being left behind to discuss with the police and with the men in custody about what they were doing and what comes next. And our team went to go and track the hobgoblins that Cat had put a tracking spell on. And it led them to what looked like an overgrown, incredibly spooky uh, um, Central Park area in old LA. Everything was overgrown to the point, in fact, that it was crawling over the sidewalk to try and grow into the street. They didn't do anything with it. They filed that information away and went topside because everybody had decided to pursue the Raven twins.
Oh yeah, I forgot that bit of it.
Yeah. So this is what recap's for. Long-winded recap. Everybody went back to the precinct to get changed or dressed in a way that they thought was good. But I believe Daniel was the only one that put on his uniform again because he felt the most comfortable. You correct me if I'm wrong.
You are
and
correct, as you can
they
see.
Yeah. You look great.
Aw.
They all got so after kind of getting changed and back into comfortable clothing, they found the Raven twins and their casino, the Blackfeather Guild, which is an exclusive gaming or game lodge kind of thing. As Marco's dad had once kind of talked about it. They found that there are marked entryways all over Main Street, which is kind of like Las Vegas, the Strip kind of thing. Several casinos and hotels and eateries and stuff in this area, and they start to go and look, and the doors are never the same, and it's always a little weird. But they were able. Cat ran into somebody that was also looking for the Blackfeather Guild, and this character Savoy led them right to it and into the casino, and that is where we left off. Was Cat and Savoy cashing in their tokens. We can decide how James rejoins them. We can also.
Oh, that's easy. I got this.
Okay.
Because, as I recall, we left off as the doors opened back to the taco place, and he's just there,
Perfect.
right?
So, James, after you get done with the police, you're like, Alphonse tacos, I gotta go get some. And you've sat down to eat your meal as your team walks through another set of courtyard doors back into Alphonse's courtyard.
What a pain.
And that's where we'll start until eventually Marco will join us again.
All right.
Marco.
Oh no!
You're not Marco, you liar.
Lies. So I'm sorry. You were saying who all's meeting up with James right now?
Everybody that went to go get Alphonse tacos.
Which is everyone.
I believe that was everybody.
Yeah.
Decided
Cat
to
is
go
leading
get
the
more.
way with the one of the twins,
Savoy.
or both of them.
Neither of the twins. It's a different character.
Oh.
Okay.
I know
Okay.
they look kind of similar, but I mean they're all ravens, but a different species of raven. It's fine.
And what?
Okay.
It's confusing. I'm sorry.
various Corvids.
Yes.
Okay, so Kat and Savoy haven't gone to play games yet then?
No. But we did talk about that Cat is given the opportunity to choose what games she would like when they go and play the games. For the sake of easily getting James back in with the group and all caught up, we are all walking in to Alphonse's Tacos. Chips have been cashed, and all you need is some food.
Yeah, so Kat's gonna get a big bag of tacos, and then do the swap again of like well here now get this big bag of tacos and just hand the like bucket of popcorn strip that she was eating to Alphonse, um, and then take the bag of tacos and just start eating one.
How do you put that all away?
Mm, um, you know how like athletes can just eat and never seem to gain weight because they exercise a lot.
Yes.
It's kind of like that, except I'm not an athlete. I do magic.
Basically the same thing.
Yeah.
I'll walk up and I'll say, "Oh, hey, James. You handle
Hey.
everything back there?"
Yeah, next time someone else is getting left behind.
It was a hit
mean,
on
this was
you.
your mess. Yeah.
Listen, I understand that. Someone else take care of it next time. Preferably someone who just kind of ignores them and doesn't answer any questions, actually.
You answered too
Anyway,
many
so
questions.
we're hot on the lead. Apparently, the employers of that one over there, and I'll point to what was her name?
Savoy was the
Savoy,
NPC.
right. Yeah. Their boss. They have two bosses, and they know things about where we're going and how things work over there.
And Savoy's gonna kind of like put their hands up a little defensively, be like, well, they're not my bosses. I mean, I do admire them like one would be a boss. But I'm just here to play the games, like you. We all want to win a little bit of knowledge, and that's what I assume you're here to do.
Oh, I thought you were an employee. My apologies.
I
What is
mean,
your relationship to them exactly?
uh, I provide them with business, and they provide me with answers.
What
Okay.
kind of answers?
And Savoy kind of gets this petulant expression as they're like trying to think of the best way to tell you without what you assume telling you what it is that they're doing here. And they fold their arms over their chest and they say, well, you seem like the sort that would understand a little bit of the supernatural monster hunting. And Savoy very distinctly looks at Daniel in his cop uniform and gives him the up and down, and then looks back at Kat and smiles, almost like, "Ah, super sweet," but there's an edge to it, and says, "In my travels, there is a few things that I have learned and several more that I haven't. And one of the things I haven't learned is the secret to human immortality. And I myself don't have a problem with this, but somebody that I care about does. And I would very much like to resolve my problem." And they give you like, yeah, smile. Like that might be all that they give you on that in that regard. Very personal.
Trust me, you don't want to be immortal. It's a curse.
There's that cheeky smile again of like, I know.
Alright.
Savoy like kind of rocks back on their heels and again gives you the up and down and says, I'm aware the immortality isn't for me. I am already cursed to walk this earth until there is nothing left. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
so much bitterness in what they say about that, like so much.
If
Kat
it's any
just gives,
consolation,
like,
I trust that it will go soon. The nothingness will be here within a few decades.
Thank you.
Kat
I
just sort of
appreciate it.
gives Savoy like a knowing nod, like a trust me, I get that kind of a look, and but doesn't say anything.
Okay.
Wow, that's wild.
Savoy's just like, yeah, it is, and immediately starts eating so that they don't have to talk anymore.
Okay.
You guys,
Put some headphones in.
pop some headphones in to go walk away. Everybody ordered and ate Alphonse again, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Just some nachos.
Sweet. In this regard, you guys can all add a +1 for a single use to one stat of your choosing. You do not have to choose that now. So, or yeah, a +1 to any of that. You can use it at any time during the session. It goes away when this session ends.
Okay.
Make sense?
Got it. Okay.
Different
Nope.
perks every time you eat Alphonse.
That's cool. Also,
What happens if we eat Alphonse?
You're not. Oh, if you actually ate Alphonse.
Yeah, you know, a goose with golden eggs kind of a thing.
Yeah, I don't know
don't
about that.
that-
I would
I
be
think
very
that'd be a bad
afraid.
thing.
I would be very afraid.
Honestly, I'd probably X-guard that. That's horrible.
I mean, I don't have a problem with cannibalism, but the fairies are very.
It's good to know,
attached
Yaz. I'm never
Alphonse.
eating with you.
The things I accidentally say while we're live streaming.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hi, future employers.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get into the morality. Anyways, so you guys get your bonus for eating Alphonse.
Awesome.
The food tastes just as amazing as it did before, and the entire game room is available to you. I assume that James Cook is updated sort of with like why you're there and what you're doing and all of that.
Yep. They have
Or do you
information
just like
we
not?
wanted.
I mean, Kat's not sharing information at all, but I'm sure somebody told James.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just like watching Kat do her thing, and I'll be at the back with James, and I'll fill him in while we observe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's what
Uh,
I'm assuming is going to happen, unless you're like, yeah, games, I'm going to play.
No.
Kat is plotting and possibly scheming.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I do
Uh-oh. Yes, froze.
like some good scheming.
There we go.
And
Now you're back.
as you, oh, sorry.
You froze for a minute.
My bad. Oh, internet was like, what are we doing? So as oh, my brain. Okay. You guys finish up your meal. And after eating, Savoy looks much more pleasant to talk to again, rather than being so secretive and aloof or abrasive, as one might call it. And offer, like, they stand up, toss away their trash, and come back and offer Kat a hand to take her back into the game room. And says, "Are you going?"
So Kat still has like half a bag of tacos that she's holding on to with one hand, and the other one she goes to take Savoy's hand, thinks about it for a second, and then just like wipes it on her duster coat
Oh no.
or trench coat, whatever you want to call it. It looks like this. Directions are hard on a reversed camera. So she wipes her hand off on that and then takes Savoy's hand.
Nice. So Savoy leads her back into the game room, kind of casting a glance back at everybody else, but without saying anything further, and kind of just does a sweeping motion to the games and says, "What would you like to play today?"
Oh wow, they've got a lot of good games here. Let's see, they've got like so many different types: poker, uh, blackjack, even checkers. How about that one back there? The Go Fish table.
Savoy gives her a look, but nods and says, "All right, let's."
Uh-oh.
Oh,
And takes her back to the go fish table.
okay.
Everything's a little weird right now.
No worries. It's the day
This is
for
tech issue
everybody.
day. It's all good.
Yep.
Everybody's having tech issues today,
We're down to a
including
couple
myself.
of people.
Yeah. By the way, we did hear just for audience sake, we did hear from Nate. Their internet is being wonky on the provider end, so maybe
Comcast! I'm assuming
Right.
it's Comcast.
it's a fair assumption.
Probably.
It's all of them, but I like yelling Comcast the most.
Yeah. Okay, so Kat will go over to the Go Fish table with Savoy, and before they start playing, I would like to do a little magic.
Okay.
I would like to use magic to read surface thoughts, so that I can tell what numbers they're thinking about.
Okay. You may
And
roll weird for that.
I'm gonna
Cheating
use
at Go
that.
Fish.
Yep. there's a reason for it.
I mean,
I'm gonna.
if you're gonna cheat this because the stakes are so high.
I'm gonna use that +1 now.
Okay.
Right out the gate. 13, nice.
Nice. So you are able to read all of the players' surface thoughts, primarily the colors or numbers that they have on their card. You, however, cannot read the dealer. The dealer is completely walled off, almost like there's an empty spot there. And when you look up at the dealer, this woman is just a shining angel in copper curls that are just like they spill down over her shoulder. She has them not tied up. And she's just covered in freckles, wearing the same uniform as the person at the door is, which is a high-waisted pants and a collared shirt with the red armbands over the arms and
Okay.
a little tag that says A on it.
That was a good description.
Yeah. Okay. So I think Kat's just going to play for a while and just call on the people that she can read the thoughts on, and is going to purposefully lose like 75% of the time.
Okay. You may cash in on random tidbits of information or cash in on money.
Um,
What would you like to what would you like to play and win?
um, probably just focusing on the money because the idea is she wants to appear bad at this so that she can challenge Savoy to a one-on-one game and essentially hustle them into getting a favor or a secret that the party can use.
All right, okay. It you are fairly effective at what you're doing. Nobody is none the wiser, and eventually you get to the point where you're sitting at a one-on-one. For those that are watching, James and Daniel, can I have you guys? I assume that you're observing and keeping an eye on Kat, but are you also watching the rest of the game hall?
Hmm.
Mhm.
I'm not sure where my focus would be. I think I'm gonna watch Cat.
Okay. James, I saw that head nod. Can I have you roll what is it? Just sharp for me. We'll start with just a sharp check. All
Decent.
right. You may add, you notice one thing in this hall, and primarily what you see is there are a lot of people who work here, but you are seeing like 7 or 8 just like copper, curly haired, fair skinned people that are, they're almost like they're the managers. Either they're at the tables dealing, or they're the ones that are giving, addressing orders to other workers or servants. So you can do with that information what you will. Let's hop back to Cat real quick.
Hold,
Sorry, go on.
I'm watching Cat, and my main focus is going to be to catch other people cheating at that table.
Okay. Roll sharp for me.
Okay. Sure. So many buttons. Mixed success.
You don't see anybody specifically cheating, but there is one person that's sitting at the table that shows all of the signs of somebody who would cheat and just has not chosen to do so at that time. However, as Kat is playing, they eventually get weeded off and go sit down at a table, wherein you see Magpie, or Magweed, not Magpie, Magweed, your fun little now human looking friend, who has also sat down at the same table with this cheater and is playing uh, Battleship.
Oh god, he's gonna cheat too.
And the
They
two are
deserve
sitting
each
at
other.
this. The two of them are sitting at the same table, or at the same desk now, sitting down for a game against each other. It's gonna be great.
That's amazing.
So, Kat, in your workings, you do eventually get it down, so it's just Savoy and you, and their surface thoughts are just as apparent as the other people's were. What it being the cards and the colors for the cards. And the only person still standing at the table next to you is the copper-haired dealer, who hasn't said anything or really done anything except to pass you your new cards.
Okay. Kat is going to largely ignore the dealer this whole time, but still sort of have that like I'm just gonna keep an eye on them, make sure they don't do anything weird, because it's really weird that she can't read them at all. Um, and once it gets down to just her and Savoy, Kat's gonna say, "Well, hey, why don't we make this a little more interesting, since it's just the two of us? Um, what do you say we up the stakes? Maybe about a favor."
And Savoy quirks an eyebrow at them, kind of takes a moment to think about it, and says, "Sure. What stakes and or favor are you thinking? Or are you just going to call on me in the future?"
Well, we'll just say it's if I win, you owe me a favor. If you win, I owe you a favor.
That's fair.
Um, and then yeah, Kat's gonna cheat the hell out of that hand.
You do win the game. Uh, Savoy is none the wiser to having the wool pulled over their eyes. You do see at one point in the game while they're working on it, almost like a shiver runs through them, and just around the cuff of their hands, you see almost like feathers sprouting for just a second, and their brown eyes flash gold at one point, and but for the most part, nothing else happens. And they put their cards down, and the dealer takes their cards, turns to you, and for the first time during your sitting at the game, speaks and says, "You have won. The currency in which you have played against each other is one favor that in the future will be paid in full." She looks at Savoy and she says, "And if you do not pay this favor in full, there will be repercussions." And she smiles, and she will take the cards from Kat, and she purposely sets it up so that her fingers brush Kat's fingers as she's taking the cards.
Okay. That's creepy.
So quiet for just a second. You're fine now.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, yeah, that's a little creepy. Um, yeah. I think as soon as like Kat wins, she'll turn the mind reading off, um, just to be on the safe side. Probably be a little creeped out touching the person that she couldn't read at all. And I'm just curious, did Kat at all get the sense that that she was reading two people's surface thoughts during that game?
Yes, actually. Kat would have, almost in two very distinct voices. And one of them is definitely like the face face fronting one, but the second voice was a little bit more sinister and almost seemed antagonistic towards the first one. um
Okay.
Almost like siblings might be antagonistic to each other. uh but other, like, it would just be more of like, you kind of got the impression of this instead of something concrete.
Hmm.
Dun dun dun. So Savoy stands up and says, "Well, I don't think I'll be betting any favors. Were there other games that you wanted to play?"
Um, I think I'm actually okay for now. That was very fun. If you wanted to get a drink or something like that, I'd be happy to spend some more time with you this evening. Just need to check in with my friends here for a moment, um, and then I can join you wherever you'd like.
That sounds delightful. I'll see you in the bar. And they point at what looks like to be like a nice lounge bar. Whenever you're ready, I'll be there. And
Okay.
Savoy leaves and heads back.
Kat will head over to Daniel and sort of clap him on the shoulder and say, "Oh, good news. They seem to know people and know things, and now they owe me a favor. So, whatever it is that you want to know, um, they can probably tell us."
Yeah, you think we can bypass the sisters and just get everything from her or them?
Um, I don't know if we can bypass the sisters, but they seem to know people and know things. So, either that or they can tell us how to deal with the sisters, I guess.
I'm pretty uncomfortable in this surrounding, so I'll let you take the lead. Whatever you think works best.
All right. Um, and yeah, Kat will go hang out with Spoy again.
Cool. Um, on a side note, do you keep an eye out for magweed at all?
Oh, Kat's not.
Does anybody else keep an eye out on magweed? You don't have to.
I
But
keep a slight eye out.
all right. So Kat, you head back to the bar. Magweed is playing a tight, dirty game with this other cheater that sat down, and they are neck and neck, like to the point that a couple people have actually gathered around, including one of the redheads that is seen walking all over. And she kind of stands, or in this case, not she, he stands with their hands on the side of the table, making sure that no more funny business is having. But there is very distinctly physical contact between this specific broker and presiding over the game and both Magweed and the other man. And they are both sweating bullets, but eventually Magweed does come out on top and with a small handful of coins, which they then go to the next game to play. For now, it doesn't look like Magweed's causing too much trouble. So you do with that what you will. So
Such restraint.
Magweed is just the most restrained ever. No. So you head, Cat heads to the bar where Savoy is sitting. Savoy has ordered themselves what looks like to be whiskey on the rocks, and is sipping it, going over something in a handwritten journal or a leather notebook.
I'm gonna take up position like nearby so that I can read Savoy. Not her
Okay.
notebook, their notebook, just their face, so I can tell
Right.
if they're lying.
So for this entire thing, I'm gonna have you roll once, and I believe that's gonna be a sharp roll, and that will just, and you can add whatever dice you need to it if you don't like the roll or whatever. But that'll be, we'll keep that as the blanket for this spot. Perfect.
Another mix.
Yeah. Okay. Water. So, Cat,
Yeah.
you sit down. What do you do? Do you join them immediately?
Yeah. Cat'll plop, like quite literally, plop down on the chair or stool next to Savoy, and set the bag of tacos down on the counter, and order something that goes well with tacos. Maybe a margarita, or something fruity like that.
A Mai Tai?
Yeah. Something with an umbrella.
Okay, perfect. Some tropical fruity drink.
Yeah. And she just sort of leans back and like if there is like a little bar to put your feet on or something like that, then like she'll sort of lean back at an angle so that her feet are on Savoy's side of that bar. Just taking up kind of as much space as possible.
Okay.
And sipping this drink and goes, so, what do you do? Other than, play games, of course.
Savoy starts to answer, stops for a moment, and then says, I run an umbrella business on the East Coast. And Daniel, you notice this. What they've said is not a lie, but it's most certainly not the whole truth.
I mean, that's fair. As long as it's not an outright lie, I'll let them get away with it.
Okay.
So, Kat just sort of grins and says, so you lot run, like imports and exports then?
That would be part of it.
And she just sort of just like the finger on the side of her nose, like tap a couple times, like, I get it.
To this, Savoy raises an eyebrow and says, I'm not sure I get what you're getting.
Well, I mean, you ordered. Did you want one of these? And she points at the drink before taking another sip with a slurp.
Savoy raises their glass and says, I'm quite fine with what I have, but thank you. And sips at it and says, and what is it that you do? And glances at Daniel and James if he's near Daniel.
um. So Kat says, "Well, I investigate paranormal mysteries, and I've been known to be a purveyor of relics and sorts on occasion."
I'll tap the badge and let Savoy know in that way that we're all cops.
Savoy gives you a very brief, I don't mean any harm expression before listening to Kat again. It's like I'm not here to mess anything up.
And Kat, knowing this or seeing this, also adds after the fact. And also, I'm the only one in my on my team, apparently with any sort of subtlety.
Savoy has a good laugh about that. And they kind of sit back and says, then I assume that you are working, and that's why you're here.
Well, a little bit of work, a little bit of uh, she says sightseeing, but she kind of says that in a flirty way and gives Savoy a little wink.
This does draw like a strange expression from Savoy, but they don't acknowledge it in any way. And Savoy nods and says, do you understand how the sisters work? Or the twins
I've heard
work?
I've heard a little bit. They sound like you're at least what I've heard is it sounds like a standard Fey arrangement. You ask a question, they give you an answer, but they require something in return, something that you probably didn't intend to pay. Um, but I would love to hear your thoughts and insights on it.
Daniel, you notice we're micro expressions. When Kat says the word Fey, Savoy's jaw tightens up. And when they respond, they say, yeah, Faye, it's very much a lie.
Oh, so
Uh,
because this place isn't run by Faye?
the assumption would be that Savoy doesn't believe that the twins are Faye,
Hmm.
but has said Faye because that might be easier to explain than whatever it is they believe they are.
Okay.
Cryptic.
I'll cough or something to let Kat know that that's not true.
Now here's the question: did Daniel establish like coughing as the signal before this conversation at some point?
No,
Okay, then
you
Kat's
just have to
gonna be
hope you
oblivious.
get it. I don't know.
Well, say that one more time, Raven. Cat was what?
Kat's gonna be oblivious to it then.
Okay. So Savoy says, the Fae, yeah. That is how it works. I know that my contacts say that the twins know everything, and they are very literal and very, very ruthless, just as Faye can be. And Daniel, again, you get the impression that when they say Faye, they like as Faye can be. It is not directly related to the sisters or the twins.
But Faye can be like that, and the sisters are like that, so it's correct. Yeah.
Correct. And so Savoy kind of gathers their thoughts up and takes like another breath and says, those that play against the twins, if they are clever enough, they can ask whatever question, but it doesn't have to be about something. It can be knowledge, it could be a fact, it could be the lottery numbers. But you have to be willing to risk whatever is comparable to that information. And they kind of get like a sad look for just a moment, and they throw back the rest of their whiskey, click the glass on the countertop, and ask for another.
There's a slurping straw sound again. And then Cat responds, seem like you might know something about that.
Savoy's jaw tightens again. But they're busy dragging out the pause between answering with a long drink. James, where in relation to your teammates are you? And how passively are you watching Magweed?
I am probably a bit away, pondering my situation back down here and the recent danger my teammates have found themselves in, because I got a bit of a reputation down here.
The topside, or you are actually topside right now, where the casino is.
Oh, it's topside.
Wait, you wouldn't know that actually.
Oh, that's true.
Never mind. You don't know what you would be underside. Disregard that. My bad.
I don't know what's going on.
You're good. It's confusing. Multi-dimensional doors and all.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I'm having some regrets that my teammates are been put in danger because of things from my past. So I think kind of watching Magweed, but in that way that it's just like 1,000-yard stare, where I'm not like it.
You're
like
not
my
really
eyes are in that
watching.
direction, yeah, but I'm not actually like seeing.
Okay. I'm going to come back to that because Magweed needs a little bit more time to fuck something up.
The little notification sound was like perfect timing. Dude. Okay, we're switching perspectives here.
So, Savoy does eventually comment, and Savoy says, I would be remiss to say this is not my first time here, and I have not won yet. And they kind of leave it at that. They definitely don't throw back their whiskey, but they are not gently drinking it. But they don't order an additional one when that glass is empty.
I'll step up and I'll say, so the only way to get anything from the sisters is to beat them in a game? Is that what I'm understanding?
Savoy nods.
I don't have time for games. I'm willing to give up just about anything.
What about reputation?
I need to get the thing I want. And I'm not about to just risk it all for nothing.
Savoy takes a deep breath and looks up at you, understanding you just a little bit better. And they say, well, what is it that you're looking for? Because the sisters, the twins, they can give you whatever information it is at their cost and at their speed, we can say. Uh, but perhaps there are other avenues that you could be looking to find your information. It just depends on what you're willing to do. And there's like something a little bit shady in the corner of their eyes, what they're insinuating.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'll pull out a picture of my daughter and I'll look them straight in the eye as I show them the picture and sort of communicate that this is not a topic to fuck around about. So that's like an intimidation roll. I'm sure that's a thing.
Yeah, it is. You can roll for intimidation tough, or if you have it weird, or you would want
Weird
to
it
roll
is,
charm.
because I'm super weird, y'all.
Do it. Give me that weird.
hey.
Told you I was super weird.
Nice. So
So the eyes flare up,
you're
you know.
so this is hilarious that you used weird. Okay. You are so effective uh that like your intimidation was so effective that it had an effect on Savoy in a very strange way. Your eyes flashed, and it was almost like you pulsed magic
Mhm.
when you made that comment. Um, and there, in a really strange way, feathers burst out of their skin. Their hair becomes feathers, their eyes turn that predator carmine yellow, their nails lengthen, and the shirt that they're wearing actually sort of the sleeves fall apart to make way for wings. And instead of a very human looking person sitting in front of you, you are now face to face with a very avian raven colored um, non humanoid or non passing humanoid. I'll put a picture in Neon Devils if you
Mhm.
would like.
As as soon as the transformation happens, I imagine everybody's probably a little bit quiet, and then there's
Yes.
just a slurping through a straw sound.
Mhm.
So the person sitting in front of you kind of doesn't even have the same expressions that Savoy did. Their lips kind of curl back over their teeth, and they cross their arms over their chest and they say, "Would you like to go on?" in a very petulant manner.
Why wouldn't I?
Floor is yours.
That's my daughter. She's in
And
the Fey realm, and I want
mm,
her to not be in the Fey realm. I want her to be here with me and her mother. It's an easy request.
and they go and tap their chin.
I either need help getting her or to just to have someone else do it. She can't stay there. She's in danger. So if you can't help, point me to whoever can.
The bird leans back and thinks about it for a moment and says, "I do understand your concern for your daughter being in one of the Fey realms. That would be terrifying, to say the least. What information do you have about what took her?"
We think it's a boogeyman.
And without skipping a beat, they ask, "What boogeyman? Which one?"
I don't know.
Well, it's sort of uh, like a dark, smoky type of creature, and Kat will give a detailed description of what she's seen um, in the two encounters that she's had, and then she'll add, and they tend to um, how to put this delicately. Um, they make people's insides become paint on the walls.
That doesn't narrow your options down very much.
Yeah, they didn't give a name as they were kidnapping my child.
Most of them won't. Let me think for a moment. I'm going to make a couple of calls and I might have a few more answers for you. And the voice, as they respond, the voice has changed back to the voice that you recognize. As it almost looks like the feathers on this person are receding. And the Savoy's voice kind of fights to the front again, and they physically turn themselves around like they're fighting within themselves. And in one shake, like a big shiver, the most of the feathers recede, and they rip out the last few feathers around their cuffs, and now they're just in a sleeveless collared shirt, looking very frustrated. They take
What's
their
wrong
cell
with
phone.
you?
I will explain that when I get back. And they take their cell phone and go and punch in a few numbers and take a call. So you guys are left, just the two or three of you. Spooky Daddy. It just makes me laugh every
Great.
time.
Would Kat know what Savoy is?
You could roll for it. I believe that
Sorry to
Sure.
ruin your date there, Kat.
Yeah, it'd be
Oh
sharp.
no! Slurp sound again. I'm having a blast.
Hooray.
10.
You don't know specifically what they are, but there's some manner of shifter, and you believe that it looks a lot like old changeling mythologies from not the one you recently heard where they kidnap children. Well, it's kind of like that, but clearly the two of them are still together. And that's the confusing part. Otherwise, you would be able to stick a pin in it. But
Okay.
you do know that it's they are some manner of fae, and they do not operate like you know that they should operate.
Okay. Kat's gonna relay that to Daniel in response to the question of like, what's wrong with
What's
you?
wrong with them? Yeah.
Um,
Weird phase stuff.
yeah. They
Got it. Well,
What's
we're
really
talking to the right
interesting-
person then.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is they seem to not be like. I mean, clearly they're at odds, but they're not like it. You know, I'm going to kill the other one type of odds, or like I'm going to just cart you back to my hidey hole kind of odds,
Hmm.
which is interesting.
At this time, James, something draws you out of your deep thought. And it is Magweed being pulled up by the shoulder and Magweed shouting about the game being rigged, that And most of it's nonsense. It doesn't really seem like it all relates together. The game is rigged. You set it up so we'd fail. I can't believe what you're doing. Uh, I like one thing or another, and suddenly Magweed goes very quiet when one of the gingers comes over and just puts a hand on their shoulder and kind of looks like they're talking to them. But Magweed falls very quiet at this time. And then the two depart, and Magweed is kind of just left standing in the middle, and nobody else really seems to be bothered by this outburst. And Magweed kind of looks around confused, and then looks at you and kind of gives you like a really confused expression, like, what the fuck are you doing here? He says, and kind of walks over to you and looks around and says, what the fuck am I doing here? Why is my
Whoa.
skin a Caucasian? Like, why do I look like a human? What is going on?
Shh. Magweed, the less questions you ask, the safer you'll be.
Magweed just looks really grumpy at you and then keeps asking the same questions over, but very quietly now.
So Magweed doesn't remember why he looks this way?
Nope.
This is interesting.
Listen, you made a bad deal. You know, and you ended up, well, they had to, it was kind of life altering. So I guess this is just how you look now. Sorry.
Magweed gives you like a dumbfounded look, like jaw almost drops the to the floor. His eyes almost waters up, and he grabs you by the front of your shirt and he says, I'm too pretty of a kelpie to be immortal for the rest of my life. You have to help me.
Right. I have to help you. Huh?
What are you
Well-
even doing here? I haven't seen you in years. You know what? We should get a drink.
Sorry, you
And-
haven't seen me in how long?
Oh, I mean, like, we talked on the phone the other day, but it's been like 3 years, right?
Oh,
Since we last saw each other? Yeah, come
Well-
on. I'll get you a drink. I'd buy, but I'm broke.
hold on. I tried to track down the one that just put the whammy on him.
One of the gingers?
Yeah,
Okay.
stay here.
I'm gonna need you to roll sharp for me to make sure that you find the right ginger.
I'll keep
Oh,
Magweed, stationary and out of trouble.
Okay.
Come
Magweed's just like the
on.
drinks.
7.
That's not terrible. There are, you know that it was one of the male gingers, but there are 3 male gingers walking around the room. You may pick 1, 2, or 3 to speak with.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are any of them like holding hors d'oeuvres or anything like that?
Yeah, one of them is.
Would that make them like the gingerbread man?
All right. All right.
God damn it! I wanted to that one. I thought this was gonna be a pertinent question.
Sorry, I'm terrible.
A little bit.
All right, I'm gonna go for 2.
2 is not the hors d'oeuvre one. 2 is currently counting out what looks like could be a cash box, but clearly it's not the bills that you use. And he looks up and tilts his head at you. Doesn't say anything immediately, but just like a what expression?
Listen, you put the whammy on my associate over there. And I point at Magweed.
Hmm. You mean the Kelpie pretending to be a human?
Yes, that one.
I see. Um, and they put everything away real quickly, lock it back up, and kind of like lean against the table and look at you and say, are you aware that this individual has been banned from these premises?
James kind of sighs and puts his face in his hand for a second. God damn it, Magweed.
And the ginger continues and says, the last time your associate was here, they tried to. I don't have a polite word for what they were doing, but it was not very kind. We took what your associate owed us in debts for the entire his stay with the guild, and had all memory of our guild erased from his mind as part of that debt. And now we find that he's here. I'm going to have to take this up with the sisters. What it looks like happened, I'm sure one of my brothers could help you a little bit better, is that he spent too much gambling and lost too many times again.
Look,
It gives you like a smart little smile, reaches out and pats you on the shoulder and walks away.
Did I hear correctly that he got banned and then they removed the knowledge that he was banned from him?
They removed the knowledge of the guild entirely.
Yeah, including the part where he's banned, so he has no idea that he shouldn't be there.
That's true.
That's not smart.
But
oh,
if you
this guy's just walking away from me.
yeah, this guy walks away from you.
Keep it together. Keep it together, James. You stand on things a different way. You stand on things a different way. Okay. So I've just got to meet the twins then. Huh?
Are you shouting after the ginger?
Yes.
The ginger stops and turns around and gives you like that head tilt again. And there's something very uncanny about the way that any of the gingers really move or interact with you. And then it nods and says, sure, we could set up a meeting with the twins if you'd like. And gives you like a skin-chilling smile that is way too sweet to be any good.
Hold on. Well, before you do that, come over here. I want to tell you who I am really quick.
And the ginger sidles up to you and says, sure, but I do need you to know that our guild works with several people in high stations of their life, and your reputation means nothing here.
I'm not worried about that. So what I'd like to use is actually I do have a reputation from my criminal past. So I have a thing, and I know what you just said, but I'm going to read it out anyway. Notorious. You have a reputation from your criminal past. When you reveal who you are, your terrifying reputation counts as a reason for someone to do what you ask. It's missing there.
Uh-oh.
When you manipulate someone, revealing your identity to someone can bring other problems later, of course.
Well, roll for it.
I don't think this is the right place for that.
So I'm wondering if I can.
Do you roll for it? Right, it's part of your intimidation or manipulation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me see, because it counts as a reason for them to do what I say. So I guess I gotta meet these twins because I think it's kind of important that Magweed remembers the last couple of days or day. How much time's passed? I don't know.
It's been
I was gone for
a little over 24 hours. No, it's been less than 24 hours.
Okay. Well, the last day. Kind of need him to remember that. So what, I have a +1 from Alphonse? Is this thing?
Yep.
And if I use, well, I'd have to threaten him. Or isn't this kind of a threat if I'm like, let
A
me tell
little
you
bit.
who I am
It
really
can be a
quick.
subtle threat. You just have to be prepared for the consequences.
It's not really meant to be threatening, but more like a, no, I actually am someone. um, why not, guys? What's a little chaos? Am I
Do
right?
it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
It's all you.
So God. So if so, I guess this is to manipulate someone. Got a +3. I guess I'll roll before I say anything, or
Yep.
any sort of way to say. And this is my +1 of the day, so let me add that. +1. Jesus Christ, no. Really? That's
Is
so
that
rough.
with all your pluses?
That's a lot of experience.
I rolled the minimum on that.
Wow.
My heart's really my heart's not too into it because I'm like, I don't really want to reveal this shit.
I'm sorry, my friend. So the ginger standing in front of you tilts its head the other way and reaches out and says, "That's sweet of you," and pats you on the shoulder again. And is like, "I'll be back."
Just get me a meeting, man.
And the happy little ginger runs off. Savoy returns to Kat and Daniel.
I used to be intimidating.
What?
I used to be intimidating.
Until you took an arrow to the knee?
People used to fear me.
Yep.
That's kind of just what James is muttering to himself. People used to fear me.
He's having an identity crisis right now. So Savoy comes back looking much more put together once again. And it slips their phone into their pants pocket, picks up their jacket, pulls it over their shoulders, and looks at the two of you and says, I was not able to find a specific boogeyman that fit in your story that you shared with me. No, we could give you the time for a backstory. I live for backstory stuff. If you would like to, you don't have to. You can keep it for yourself.
Rolls ain't with us today.
All right.
Maybe I'll try again with the twins.
Okay. So
I'm sure they'll be scared of you.
Yeah, hopefully.
So you guys, so Savoy's come back, has said that they can't find specifically what boogeyman it is. They said that I'm stuttering. I'm sorry.
No worries.
That's not something to apologize for.
It's frustrating. I'm apologizing to myself. So
On behalf of yourself, I forgive you.
well, thanks. Savoy looks a little frustrated with the lack of information that they were able to find, and says that there's a lot of ways in and out of the fairy realms, and the different cities as well. But the cities aren't designed for mortals. And that while there would be other ways to get in there and work your way in, this twins might be the fastest bet to getting the information that you need, finding out where your daughter is, and getting to the bottom of whatever it is that you're searching for. And without having to go through each of the city's rings and their guardians and their bridges and all of that, which usually is what keeps humans out in the first place. So perhaps playing or even speaking with the twins would be beneficial to you.
Okay.
I
Maybe
do.
James
Sorry, go
comes
on.
back at the moment where I say something like, "So it looks like I'll have to play a game to get a meeting with them then."
I mean, or you could ask. I kind of just asked for one.
What'd they say?
It's a little frustrating dealing with these guys. Kind of said nothing, but also when to do it. So
So are you getting a meeting or not?
I don't know. To tell you truthfully. If not, I can.
What happened to this guy?
Again.
I pointed Magweed.
Well, as expected, Magweed in a lot of trouble. Has been kicked out of here before. They erased his memories, so got to get that memory back.
Hmm.
You know, as he's kind of essential to the whole getting your daughter thing.
You think they'll be upset if I get it back? I feel like I can do that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I mean, what do they have to be upset about?
I'm gonna attempt to magic his mind back together.
Okay.
I feel like as this is happening, Kat's gonna be like, before Daniel does his thing. You see, so the people who we're trying to talk to give us information, who run this place, who are very dangerous, have removed this person's memory for being an asshole, and you want to return it to him in their establishment as we're trying to get on their good side.
And I'll have the glowing hand like right near his head and like, okay, maybe you're right.
I grab his hand and put it on the head.
I don't know if it works that way. Daniel, how
Talking
does
to
your
that.
magic work?
It'd be funny if I could. James doesn't know anything about magic, but just takes Daniel's hand and is like, let me try to use magic for the first time here.
I feel like something should happen, but since I'm not intending to do the correct thing, maybe I mess it up even worse.
Do you want to roll for
Yeah,
it?
I'm gonna make a roll, and just something's gonna happen, and I don't know what. So
All right.
let's, Yaz, make up your mind. Like if failure is bad and whatever, it's just, and then I'll roll.
If this
Okay.
goes wrong, can it please be that Magweed's memories of James are just all now Daniel
Well, it's a high roll.
for like a short amount of time?
So it's not dangerous. Whatever happens isn't terrible. But I do like the idea of James being replaced with Daniel in his memory.
I'm just at the forefront of his mind for the next.
Week or whatever,
Yeah.
however long it is. So that happens, but at the same time, your magic also breaks down the glamour that Cat put on him, and he is his green, blue skinned, shady, shaggy looking self. Wet dreads, moist, damp skin, black and blue eyes. You know.
Okay, that was not the intent. Maybe next time don't mess with me if I'm doing magic. You never know what's gonna happen.
I don't. It's still fun though.
Magweed, what did happen? You feeling all right?
Daniel, it's been so long since we last seen each other. I would love to get you a drink.
Great.
What?
Who are you?
What?
And he goes and he's like, Daniel, we had some good times, didn't we? Hey, you know what? I would love to buy you the drink, but I'm broke right now. You should buy us some drinks.
Fine. I'll
Cat
go buy
just
him a drink.
walks up, puts a taco in Daniel's hand, and just literally slaps him on the back and goes, "Well, you look like you've got this under control."
Yeah, I'll
Go
deal with
walk off
this.
to wherever Savoy is.
Savoy's still standing there, kind of watching everything, like,
I don't know if this is
what
a
have I
blessing.
gotten into?
Mhm.
This is kind of a blessing.
Savoy, when Kat, you walk up to Savoy, they do kind of like you could see like something's going on internally before they finally speak and they say, I do have an appointment later today to play against the sisters. You are more than welcome to take it if you need it. If that is something that comes up and your friend is not able to get their appointment with them, they're
Oh,
very
that's
open. I don't doubt that you wouldn't be able to get in, but sometimes they're busy.
that's very generous of you. You sure you don't need that appointment?
I do, but I can always make another one.
Well, I suppose if you're being so generous as to gift us that, then I should give you something in return. And Kat's gonna get like really flirty and lean in really, really close, like right next to Savoy's ear, and just whisper, "You should guard your thoughts better when you play games." And then just slap him on the back and walk off.
Savoy just looks dumbfounded, like, what? You're a jerk. With that, right before we go on our break, the ginger does return. Showing up, almost appearing out of nowhere, right next to James, and reaches out to touch your shoulder again and says, the twins have made time in their schedule to see you.
You're very touchy.
They just smile and say, can I help you with anything else?
No.
All right, enjoy your stay. And remember, there's nothing to lose here. And they run off again.
Oh, so
And
creepy.
picture that literal. They're literally running off.
Well, skipping off. All the redheads in the room seem absurdly happy and very charming. Too happy.
They're
Well,
weird.
we better
Oh
be
my
careful. Better be careful with this meeting. It could end up being fatal.
We could end up being one of these.
See what I did there?
No?
Fatal.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on.
Oh, okay.
Let's
I got you.
All right.
Nice.
So with that, I think now is a good time to get a break. The time
All right.
changes are a little weird for me.
Let's see if
so-
we can summon our castmates from the void in this break.
Perhaps.
That's good. All right, we'll be back in about 10 minutes to take a break. So stretch your legs, grab snacks, all that good stuff, and we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. Prettiest princess, absolutely.
Yay, welcome back. So we left just as the super cute Ginger had let James know that an appointment was made to see the twins.
Um,
Didn't mention
And
when.
no, they
Wow.
didn't mention when.
I do have a question. If there's something else I could have done when whispering or speaking softly into Savoy's ear,
Okay.
and that is like stick a little handwritten note into their pocket for them to find later.
Yeah,
Okay.
just
Not into their ear.
why?
Just be like, it's a magic trick. Somebody left a note in your ear.
What's this? The Constitution?
But for them to find later, and the note will say something to the effect of the favor that Kat will require of them is a proper date where she's not on the clock.
Cute. Okay.
Since Kat's like, Savoy pretty much already did us a couple of favors, like, not gonna hold that over them.
I'm not gonna lie, Savoy's a very generous person if they like you. Like, they're not terrible. They're really kind. They're probably the nicest NPC I have here. But
Not their split personality, though.
oh no, their other half is definitely a handful.
I They can be pretty nice too if they like you.
Yes, but the margin for liking somebody is significantly smaller.
That's
They
very
like they like Mira. That's about it. But you guys don't know Mira either. Anyways, so you guys are left knowing that you have an appointment, but you don't know the time and you don't know the where.
Someone will fetch us.
Will they, though? What if it's next week?
Well, if it's next week, I pull out a stone with a picture of an imp on it. Sorry, carved into it. Then I have this.
You sure you want to unleash that thing in here?
It'll be fine.
It seems
I mean-
very risky.
It's never died before, but I'm assuming probably comes back here.
Oh, I think they'll kill you if it messes up.
Yeah, well. they don't
Or
know
just
it was for
erase
me,
your
would
mind.
they?
Bring you back to kindergarten.
Well, if it comes to that, well, first of all, how much they erase is entirely its own problem. And there's probably a connection I can pull.
So Savoy's still standing. Yes, the imp was sent for Oreos.
I know they were at some
I
point.
don't remember that.
Yeah, they did. James
Wow, it's
sent
been
them
2
out
weeks.
for Oreos. Yeah. Oh, so we'll
It's
just
so
address
long.
that.
Oreos.
We'll just address that when you summon the imp again, just so you know. But no, you did send it out for. You sent $200 with them to go get carrot flavored Oreos.
It was for George, man. He's
Yeah.
got the information. I wanted it.
True.
I don't have it, but I did want it at one point.
So Savoy's still standing off to the edge, and they needed just a minute to like carrot cake. They needed a moment to digest the fact that Cat totally pulled the wool over their eyes, before being like, "I'm glad that you have the appointment. Did you still need mine?"
Well, depending on how the first one goes.
Maybe we should see when they are.
They have all the appointments listed outside of the guild hall. This isn't the guild hall. This is the guild games.
Okay, so where's that?
I suppose I will show you. And Savoy orders another drink and takes it with them as they lead you out of the primary game hall and down a very lavish, very beautiful hallway. Carpet red and gold with red with gold twisting what looks like cords or braids printed on it. All of the paneling on the walls is made, or it looks like it's Baroque styled, hand carved, fleur-de-lis, floral flowers, exquisite. And in the right light, you could swear that most of it is gild leafed. And Savoy takes you down. It's almost like a labyrinth of turns. Each hall looking just as beautiful as the last. You pass several open doors to more private game rooms. People, the stakes for these game rooms seem to be significantly higher until you get to what looks like a foyer. And you don't really understand how or what or where or when, but this foyer has a skylight in it. You can see the hint of foliage peeking over this skylight, and you can see the stars and the star of Deus Los Angeles framed in this skylight. The star is an architectural point that's essentially the town center. Um, and they take you to a
Wait,
large
are we
door.
looking up towards the city above?
Yeah, so you can, when you look up, you can see the town center tower and the star for Deus Los Angeles at the top of that tower. So you can kind of assume that you're about a third level above topside in
Oh,
the
okay.
building. So you can see the sky, you can't see any scaffolding. And what few buildings, skyscraper tips that you can see are all part of the really gorgeous, beautiful architecture of the city.
We're looking at
Um,
the skyline. Okay, I thought we
yeah,
might have been looking at the, from under Los Angeles
yeah,
up at the top, because I'm assuming there's something there.
yeah. There's something there, but no, you're top. You're definitely still topside.
Cool.
James, this would be a good moment to realize that you're topside. Just so you know. And Savoy takes you to at the end of this foyer. There are massive double doors. Um, in these double doors appears to be hand carved tree of life, Yggdrasil, with the snake twisting around in the roots and the eagle in the bow. And even upon closer inspection, you can see Ratatoskr, the squirrel that lives in the life tree. And around the edges of these beautiful, grand handmade doors, you can see Elder Futhark runes carved into the wood and painted with gold. And Savoy continues to the side of the door where a very long list and a gold plaque is. And on the list are names and times that there are appointments. And you can see that the list is constantly changing. Part of the text will light up and disappear, and then another portion of the schedule will light up and a name will reappear in there. And it seems to be ever adjusting. Savoy points to their name. You can see their full name, Savoy Bilius, and an additional name next to Savoy that says Zahil. And at that, and their time says 2 a.m., which for you guys is in about an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm. Right, and where's yours, James?
Well, let me look.
So you lean in, and you can see that almost right next to Savoy's, you've got about a 15-minute grace period between the two times is your name, and it has your full real name. I don't know if that is James Cook or not, but it is your legal name, your birth name, or your birth name, whatever, whichever one works.
We don't know what that is, so we can't find this appointment.
Well, James can.
Yeah, okay, but not
Okay.
us.
All right. So my full name's out there, huh? Okay. James kind of has that moment of, okay, shit. As he
don't
looks
see
at
your
the
name
name
anywhere.
that's displayed. Don't worry. When it's time, we'll know.
Okay.
Hmm.
And
Can,
then go on.
Can Cat tell if James is being dodgy or not?
You would have to roll for it, and I would make you roll read a bad situation.
Okay, and
Kind of.
that's
It's sharp,
sharp?
I believe.
James can't lie to me. So.
11.
Unbelievable.
James is definitely being dodgy, and Daniel, you know
Unbelievable.
he's also being dodgy.
Mhm.
Daniel's
So,
definitely being pretty sketchy right now.
Daniel, I am? What am I doing?
Not Daniel, sorry, James. Burpeter.
I am
So,
the truth itself.
James,
Mm.
why are you being dodgy about the list?
Oh, it's just been a long day. I'm a little paranoid.
Well, that's a
Why?
reason to be nervous. Why are you being dodgy?
Thought I saw one of Uther's associates on there.
Cat immediately looks to Daniel.
That's a lie.
Listen, all right. We must all have our secrets.
Must we?
Oh, I have loads of secrets, but none of them are preventing or hindering our task here. Wow, pretty sure.
What is hindering? Well, this isn't hindering it either.
Except we don't know what time our appointment is.
But I do, so it's all good.
Okay, so you do have an appointment and you are on this list. Okay, that's
Yep.
something.
And it's not ridiculously far into the future where we would need to, say, swap with Savoy.
Nope, it'll be fine.
All
You
right.
can if that would make you feel more comfortable, though.
No, it's
Cat
good.
takes a snapshot of the list with her phone.
So, Kat, when you look at that snapshot on your phone, all the text on it is blurry and goodness,
Illegible.
illegible.
She looks at it and goes, "Oh, for fuck's sake," and pulls out a notebook and starts writing things down.
So as you're doing that, everything that you've written down before, it's almost like the strokes that you use to put the letters together get up and walk around and lay down in different places. And when you go back to review what you've written, it's all like nonsense.
She just looks at the list again, very, very annoyed, and just points at it and talks to the list and goes, "Very lucky that we have an important job to do here. If we didn't, I would not stand for this."
The list says nothing back.
Because it's a list.
I would be worried if it did.
All right, I'll turn to Magweed, who I've kept with us.
Oh, good.
And in the meantime, I've explained what's going on.
Okay. Magweed's very
And-
grateful, very confused.
Yeah, I'll attempt to restore his memory, when we're clear of this building or whatever this is. Yeah. Do you have any questions about what's going on?
What? I mean, okay.
Because I've
No.
explained it, but understanding is something else.
I mean, I definitely don't understand any of this, but I'm on board.
Right.
I'm here.
Don't
Here to
think too
help
hard,
out.
Magweed. It's never helped you before.
I mean,
He's
isn't
like,
that what
who
got me
are
into
you
this
to be
situation?
talking to me like that?
Yeah, Magweed's just like, not friends. We're not buddies.
Yeah, I'm just always
Actually,
this
you
rude.
are.
Oh,
You and him go way back, and somehow the
I would
magic
never
messed it
hang
up.
out with a
Whoa.
cop. I mean, I guess I hang out
Whoa,
with you.
whoa, Daniel. Come on. This is your good buddy, Magweed.
I met this guy a day ago.
Now, that is just a hurtful thing to say. You don't have to stand for that, Magweed.
So you guys have approximately an hour or so, a little less than an hour, before James's meeting with the twins, and then about an hour or so, a little bit longer or a little bit later, that Savoy has the meeting. If you need a second one, what would you like to do in that hour, or do you just wait?
Cat's gonna go get another drink.
Okay.
Wait.
There is a bar in this foyer area, so you can go all the way back to where you were, or have drinks here.
Oh, good. She'll get one here, but it's like in a she'll order like a 32-ounce to-go cup, and just have
Okay.
like the umbrella sticking out of the lid.
Don't
All right.
have to get it in a to-go cup. We're not going anywhere. We're waiting. We can just sit down and,
But
socialize.
it's always good to be prepared, though.
Are
Hey.
there any?
You almost
Are there-
restored this one's memories, which would have meant we probably would have had to run really quick. So I'm keeping my options open.
Mhm.
What were you saying, James?
Are there any more gingerheads around?
There is one who is currently serving the bar.
Hmm.
This
The
one
next
is a
sentence out of your
female.
mouth had better not be, because if there are, I want to,
Oh no. Hold on, my brain's flatlining.
You're good. You're good.
Wow. Okay.
I do this periodically throughout the day. You're fine.
same.
Waking
Well,
up-
move aside whatever that was. I asked George about, I think, Uther and his movements, which obviously a bit too late for that.
you ask George?
I think that's what I think that's the information I asked for in exchange for the Oreos.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You did.
Sure, it's a bit too late.
No,
That's
you're
fine.
good.
Bring out
we'll
the
just
imp.
might have to come
Okay.
back to it. You guys will see George again. Don't worry.
Okay. George. Never here when I really need him, but also shows up at the strangest of times.
Exactly.
Mm.
So, Kat, you get a 32-ounce to-go cup of what alcohol?
Something fruity and probably strong.
And how fast do you drink this?
What
Oh, it's
color
just-
is it?
Excuse me. It's definitely blue. Some type of blue. So that's probably got like blue curacao and rum and
I
like
hate blue
pineapple
Sounds
juice.
curacao.
like AMF. Oh, 32-ounce AMF. My stomach feels queasy just thinking about it.
What's an AMF?
Adios, motherfucker. It is a very alcoholic drink, and if you live in alcohol-controlled areas like Utah, the Adios motherfucker is one of the few drinks that contains more alcohol than most cocktails do because
Oh,
of
that's funny.
technicalities. So I've
Hmm.
spent a lot of nights drinking AMFs at bars. Anyways,
Yeah, rum and tropical fruit flavored,
okay.
and,
So
and possibly blue.
your very sweet drink, 32-ounce, and you guys just sit and hang out for the hour.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing of import or curiosity happens. Savoy does stick around. They don't really like hang out with you unless they're invited. They kind of are pretty used to keeping
They're
themselves.
perfectly happy to socialize with us.
Yes, if you
If
so
do,
wanted
do
them
we
to.
want to do any inter us role play, like, so where you from, who's your family,
I,
that
I
kind
Bruh.
of stuff?
I would love it if Daniel asked Kat that.
All right, let's go for it then.
I love that there's no questions about the connection between Uther and James at all.
It's your business. All right. Well, let's kill some time then. Kat, where are you from?
She just sort of looks at Daniel and goes, I guess my accent is pretty much gone at this point. I'm from London.
No way.
Yep. I've been here. So I came over with like an officer exchange program.
When you were 2?
When I was what?
Because, you know, the accent.
Oh no, just for inexplicable reasons. Almost like this is a show and the person playing me can't do an English accent. My accent has just
Wow.
disappeared.
I figure it's some kind of magic. You know, you did some spell to make yourself fit in here, and it took away your accent.
That would have been smart to do, but no, that wasn't it, surprisingly. But yeah, I'm from London.
Hmm.
How about yourself?
LA. I think. I think I've been here my whole life, but I'm not sure. Maybe we moved here.
Did you get, like, dropped on your head as a child or something? You don't...
I
Awesome.
don't know. Like, I'm opening my background right now. Like, yep. Think
I
I'm
have to do
born
that
and
too.
raised.
Keep a journal in case my memories get messed with. So I open up my background occasionally to verify information that I have.
It's confusing because I don't have that list of questions like open right now. Maybe it was in there.
Oh yeah.
I think I've been in LA this whole time.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I do something similar to protect memories and stuff. It's charmed as well. We can call it meta magic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm terrible.
So, you know, what are you hoping to do here with the spooks? You got any
Well,
life goals?
she kind of looks to the left and the right and leans in closer and speaks more quietly. Maybe throws up like a cone of silence spell or something like that. I'm not that worried if it goes off or not. And leans in and goes, well, I can't really lie to you. Like, literally.
Mm-hmm.
So...
You can, I'll just know.
Yeah. So I made certain deals with certain people to protect someone, to keep them alive. So my goal is to find a way out of said deal.
So they'll die?
No.
You said you made a deal to keep someone alive and you want out of that deal?
Right. I want them to stay alive, but me not be in that deal still. So
Is
that's
that even
the goal.
possible?
Technically, no.
Hmm.
But I've never been one to be stopped by technicalities.
So what's this deal forcing you to do or not do?
Nothing illegal or anything like that. But I do have to do certain things for certain people, as long as it doesn't break the law.
What about you, James? Where are you from?
Here, born here,
LA? Good.
raised here, probably die here.
I'll give you like a fist bump because we're both from LA.
Nice. Nice.
Right? You seem to have a lot of stuff going on. You have any goals you would like to share?
I'd like to decrease my chances of getting killed by
You
about
were in the wrong line of business, my friend.
about 100%. Well, I signed up for that, for those threats. I didn't really sign up for all the extra stuff. That's more of
Boogeyman
like
thing.
the crappy bonus.
Why
If you're
would you
wanting
come to
to-
the spooks?
Well, I came to the spooks because, I encountered this sort of weird world of extracurricular things when some old hag just pretty much grabbed me as I was walking down the street. Really weird moment of my life. Basically, like, you better straighten up, sonny. It was
Oh, omens from a
Really
hag
weird.
are pretty serious. It's a good thing you listen to them.
yeah, first time seeing magic is something else. Really weird. So I thought, when I finally became an officer, I thought, what better than to put my limited knowledge of magic into the spooks.
That's fair. But yeah, I'm glad you listened because then we wouldn't have you here on the team. And I knew this guy once that similar situation. Some old hag just grabbed him on the street and gave him this premonition. Said he better do this or bad things would happen. He didn't listen. The next week, a harp fell on his head.
Man, they're really,
Crushed him.
so cryptic.
Yeah.
What-
Yeah.
Just, you better change your ways like that. What gives me no direction?
I heard a similar
Oh,
story where
their advice is
some
terribly
guy turned down the witch and she cursed his waitstaff. Seemed kind of unfair, but
That's a little overkill.
yeah.
It's like
Carrot of magic.
it's like if a prince had a castle and turned away an old woman once. Like, do you really have to go after the whole staff?
Yeah, they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, what?
That seems a disproportionate response, really.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not a one for
So
all.
it's
and all
good
for
you
one
listen to the
situation.
hag. You never know. Could have just decided to curse everyone in your apartment building.
Yeah, and I'm a dick, but I'm not that big of a dick. It's not to that level. Either way, yeah. I also have the Imp Stone. I found this on
eBay.
basically just like a routine run, just old dilapidated building. I don't know, Circle of Hell opened up. I pulled it out.
Why would you pull something out of hell?
I was one for risks. I wanted an artifact, sort of a souvenir.
That makes sense. I've
I
done that
take
a
it this
couple
was
of times.
before you straightened up.
Well, things happen, all right? Dumb dares. Know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Magweed wasn't there for that one, but it's honestly something he would do.
It's but pulling things out of hell is kind of like Daniel. You know how people like skydive or bungee jump or ride roller coasters, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Some people pull things out of portals to hell.
I don't know. I say it was hell, but it didn't really burn too bad. It was kind of like a lot of tingling. It was only for like a
Huge
little bit.
misconception that the flames are super hot. They're just they're more
Yep.
tingly than anything. Does smell like sulfur though. Highly recommend
Heaven and
the gas
hell are
mask.
both nothing like they tell you in the
Absolutely.
books.
Could
So
not get the
it's
smell of
a-
sulfur out.
About this time, the redhead at the bar comes over and just sort of manages to touch all of you in some way, whether it's to just brush an arm against you, unless you're actively working on not getting brushed. But she says, I believe that
Cat
you're
would actively avoid being touched.
okay.
Wait, a
I would
redhead?
be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Just like I was making sure that your table was clear, but I also wanted to let you know, Mr. cook, then your appointment is ready.
Wow,
Oh, that was
thank
quick.
you very much.
All right, where do we go?
James
Just-
embellishes a little too much on that greeting.
Just through those doors. And she points to the Tree of Life doors.
Okay.
I have a question,
Yes.
cause Cat's a butt. What would I need to roll to see if Cat can remember the name that was associated with this time on the list?
Sharp.
Sure. Okay.
So roll with disadvantage because even your memory recalling is spotty.
That's fair. Nope. Just for kicks and giggles.
You
Okay.
don't. There's nothing. So the redhead kind of steps away, but she doesn't leave the table. Like she is ready to escort you to the room. Savoy does give you a brief little wave and a good luck. A very selective thing for redheads, huh?
I didn't clock that you said redhead earlier, so I was like,
They are all redheads.
this is a weird thing that I didn't pick up on.
Yeah, I think they're all like clones or something.
They look like they're all siblings.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of variation. There's 3 men and 4 women.
I changed my mind. This
Interesting.
actually might be the best place.
Cat will wave bye to Savoy with a wink and then motion for Savoy to check their pocket.
They do check their pocket while you are doing.
Is it the Constitution again?
You read them your rights.
Why?
So so the woman waits like she's going to escort you to the doorway. Do you take your time in getting up or do you head immediately there? Is
I
there
get
anything
up
you do beforehand?
immediately. So kind.
She just comes over and just like gives you a little pat on the shoulder. She's very flirtatious. And the moment you give her the invitation, she's not hanging off of you unprofessionally, but she is very like sweet and touchy, or just like touches under your chin or gives you a pat on the shoulder again.
Yeah, it's pretty plain to see that James is eating this up.
Great.
I don't even need a game to come back here, man. I'll come here for free.
Eyes on the prize, James.
All right.
We're here for my daughter.
The guilt trip, man.
So once everybody is up and ready to go, the redhead leads you, and she will literally take your hand, James. And she leads you to the big door, and all she does is lightly brush the door, and the doors swing inward. And it takes a moment for your eyes to adjust, but all that is on the other side of the room, or on the inside of the room, is a dimly lit area. It's mostly dark, so dark that you can't see the edges of the room. The center is spotlighted, and in the center is 2 chairs and what looks like a chessboard. And there are 2 identical twins sitting on each of the chairs. They both have longish black hair to about here. One is wearing what appears to be a variation of the uniform that you see the rest of the staff wearing, and the other is wearing a plunging neckline in navy blue satin, a gown that goes all the way to the floor, and a slit that opens up at the hips. They're both very attractive, but they're also both fairly androgynous, albeit very feminine. And it appears that they had a game in play with each other. And the 2 stand and they don't really smile to you, they just observe you. And the sweet little redhead bounces forward and she says, Welcome to the Black Feather Guild Hall. These are the twins, the two sisters, whatever it is that you would like to call them. But this is Hex and this is Meg. Or you can call them H and M.
Great.
Right. Well, fair. I am James Cook.
Daniel Vanderveer.
I'm Cat. Then there's a slurping noise on the straw.
The very meaningful look. James
That's
Cook.
Cat.
They smile, and at the same time, in perfect synchronicity with each other, they both say, "We know."
Do you also know why we're here?
We do.
All right.
Would you like to get down to the brass tacks?
By all means.
They step aside, and so as they kind of cross in front of you, you almost mistake your memory for what you saw when you first walked in, because as they cross between each other, suddenly there are two game boards sitting, or game chess stations, two various different games that seem to be in play, and the two twins go and sit on the far end of that, leaving two open seats, and they sit and look between the three of you, and they say, "You will play us for the information that you would like. There is no magic in these halls, and if you attempt to magic or cast spells, it will be diffused. You will be playing by mortal rules of these games, and you may choose whichever game it is that you would like to play."
I mean, any game.
Any game you wish to play.
God, what games was I even good at?
So you're not interested in a straight up deal. I get my daughter and I give you whatever the heck you want.
If you have something that is more important than knowledge for us, then perhaps that we can discuss that. But until then, you are required to play a game, and if you win, you will receive the information that you need concerning your daughter, Angelica.
And if I lose,
And if you lose, we will take a memory from you that is equatable to the knowledge that you seek.
nothing is more valuable to me than my daughter. So that would be everything I know.
Well,
Cat's just shaking her head.
James just.
How did they let you get a detective without negotiation skills?
James had the
'Cause I don't
worst thought right there. We don't negotiate with terrorists.
Or anyone else.
Fair.
James had
So-
a very bad thought there, but he's going to keep that quiet.
You have two seats. Two of you can sit down and play a game with each of them.
I'm not risking any of my memories with my daughter, because if this fails, that's all I have left of her.
Hey, you got Jenga?
We do have Jenga. And the one in the trousers sweeps a hand, and instead of the chessboard sitting in front of her, it is a Jenga tower.
All right. James looks at Daniel and says, "Doing this for you.
You should not do this.
Doing this for you." And I
Clearly,
approach
they're very
the Jenga
dexterous.
You sit down.
Is gonna pipe up for a second, going. So, you said there's no magic in this hall, right?
Correct.
The fuck was that? She points at the Jenga tower.
A good point, Kat.
The two of them smile at the exact same time and in exactly the same way. And they say, "What we do is not magic." And when they say that, like, a chill rolls through you.
Are they right? Is this a lie?
They are correct. What you are seeing is not technically magic by human standards.
Okay, interesting.
Daniel, actually, can I have you roll sharp for me? I'm gonna see if you recognize this.
There, a success. Well, a mixed success.
Daniel, you recognize this magic more like it jogs a memory of a distant dream of something that you've forgotten, but you know that you don't like, that makes you uncomfortable and
It gives me a heaven vibe.
yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that
And
makes me uncomfortable.
there is a very, very clear definition between the taste of magic the mortals cast and the taste of divine magic.
Yeah.
So,
Divinity.
Don't play them in Jenga. Look, I'll spend the rest of my life doing whatever the heck you want if you bring me my daughter back.
Look.
indentured servitude. It's cute, and perhaps we can consider that. But I would still like to play a game with you. If you
I can
were
spend the rest of my life playing games with you. That's what indentured servitude means. You want me to spend that time here doing this? Fine.
then sit down and play with me, says the one in the dress that still has the chessboard. She says, you can choose whichever game you wish to play.
Okay.
Cat is just straight up face palming right now.
Fine.
I've already sat down.
All right.
These are slight women, right?
Yes, they're small, very bird-like.
Great. Arm wrestling.
Oh no.
Is there
I mean,
Oh,
works,
no.
it is a game.
It's a game.
All right, so consider James and Daniel, the games that you've chosen each have a primary stat that I'm going to allow you to choose what you think would be best for this game, and that's what you're going to roll.
Cool.
It's tough, right?
Yeah.
I'm not tough, but that's what I'm rolling.
Okay. And this will determine the outcome of the game that you've played.
And I will spend that +1 luck thingy on there.
Perfect. And remember that you guys do have actual luck as part of your character sheet.
We both rolled 7.
Which is good enough.
there are D6s available, by the way.
And you can choose to roll a d6.
How many?
We've got 4 right now.
Oh, 4?
Oh, well, I can add one to that.
We are 1 interaction on the tweet away from another one for the cast.
Ooh, hey, you know what? Let me do that. I'm gonna do the thing.
There we go.
Hope you guys
Now
know.
it's a 12.
Oh my.
So we're still at 4 then.
I'm tempted to roll, but I also believe I would roll a 1.
Isn't that d6 just
Okay.
an addition? So you got
no.
8?
Yeah, it adds on to to whatever.
So now it's a 12.
So Daniel's got a 12 and James has an 8. Is that correct?
The what?
I think so, yeah.
No, I haven't
With your-
rolled for.
Oh, you haven't rolled?
Yeah.
Oh,
Fine. I will.
I misunderstood what you said. Okay, so that'll put us at 3d6 total. Because we just got an extra one. There you go.
Oh, I also got a 5. Okay.
Nice. So you both do exquisitely well in these two different games. It's a little neck and neck for a moment. As you're playing the games, this is the only time that you truly see the differences between the two. And you can tell that they are, as you're playing, good-natured for the most part, very curious, and very much enjoy playing these games. And they don't seem to be so heartbroken when they lose. The one on the left that James is playing claps her hands when the Jenga pieces tumble to the ground and laughs And she puts her hand out to shake your hand, and she says, "I appreciate this game. Most people will not play Jenga here." But it is about almost in the same vein that the one on the right appreciates Daniel. And uh, despite her size, she does give you a good run for your money. You can feel the force behind her as she's arm wrestling with you, but something in you almost kickstarts the last oomph that you need to push her arm down to the ground and to win that fight. And it
I'll shake out my arm, which hurts from all the pressure I've put on the thing. Huh. I even though I picked a game I thought you'd be bad at, I never thought I'd win.
and she just
Did you
smiles at you.
Did you intentionally lose?
I did not. You have a power within you that is fascinating and curious.
This looks cool.
And they both brush their hands together. The game boards disappear. The lights lighten a little bit, and instead of what you thought might have been a convention room or like a ballroom at a hotel, it almost lifts to give the appearance very dimly of a hall with long tables, sconces on the walls, and what you think might be brick walls behind tapestries detailing several Nordic mythologies. And she says, together they say, you can ask your questions.
I'll let James go first.
Oh, I was just going to ask about what you're going to ask about.
Good, because
So-
you would still have the question left afterwards.
So it doesn't matter who goes first, because I'll just ask about
All right.
your daughter.
You said you knew why we were here, so you know what I want. I want my daughter. So, what aid can you give me in getting her back?
Daughter is no longer in the first city. She is in the second city. Your daughter has found a place among the courts. And there she is safe as any mortal, tender-hearted, innocent soul can be safe among a den of lions and hounds.
Oh, so it's like she's in downtown.
She says, what brought your daughter to the fairy world is something so old we thought had died away. Something so terrible that we thought it had been locked away until it turned to dust.
You got a name?
They were once considered the primordial entity of terror. They are the first of the Fae, and they are the last of the Fae. And they are called the Alf, or the Alfri. And they are a disease for this world. And they will usher in the destruction of your mortal plane and possibly the planes of the fairy world.
Well, looks like it's going to be a task to bring her back. Daniel?
Yeah.
Kat
So I
has
asked my
a,
question again. What aid can you give me in getting her back?
We can open the doors to the first and second city for you.
All
Kat
right.
has a thought, almost like Marco somehow reaching out from the void to suggest a question to our group of why is she there in the second city, and we'll suggest that James or Daniel ask that question.
I mean, how many questions do we got each? Just the one, or?
You get to answer or ask questions as long as they'll answer.
Yeah. I'm happy. Like it's it's a good answer that they can get us there, but like, is that the extent? That's my next question then, I guess. So, all you can do for me is get me there to the second city.
I can get you there, says one, and the other says, and I will put you in touch with those that have seen her.
All right.
Mm.
And these people will be well disposed towards me then, because you know them.
I cannot say for certain whether they will be well disposed towards you or towards your friends, but I can put you in touch with them.
All right. I guess that'll have to do then. Is there anything I should know about the creature that took her? Like weaknesses, motivations?
Their motivation is purely evil intention to cause terror and fright and fear. They feed on it, and they will do whatever it takes to continue to eat until there's nothing left on this world to eat. As far as we know and as far as we understand, we do not know their weaknesses yet. We do know that they were locked away for a great deal of time. And now they are free. And the only way that they can be set free from the third city, the city of blood and bone, is that something must have let them out.
So is some genius opening a door to hell and pulling out what they find there?
Cat just starts going. just whistling innocently.
Right? Well, if you figure out a way to get it back there or kill it, let me know.
We will keep you apprised of the situation.
Well,
I'll turn around. James, you want to get the lotto numbers or whatever?
lotto numbers. No. I want to know, how can I get Uther off of my back? He really knows how to hold a grudge.
The one in trousers smiles, and she says, "Oh, good old Uther. Uther will leave you alone if you bring something to him that is greater value than the debt he feels you owe. That, or take his head off."
Well, I can accomplish one of those things. I'll leave it up to your imagination.
Were there other questions that you wish to be answered before we open these doors?
Hmm.
I've got one for Cat, but I don't know if that counts since she didn't play a game yet.
I mean, you can ask somebody to ask it.
She'll nudge James and be like, ask him how one might get out of a deal with the Huldra.
Yeah, we play telephone really quick. How does one break a deal with the Huldra?
Cat just face palms and nods.
The two twins look at each other and then look back at you and say, "You must return what it is that they took from you, or you took from them."
Are those the only options?
They are right now.
Okay. Cat will turn around to start heading towards the door, but then she'll stop for a moment and snap her finger, turn around, and look at the sisters and go, I think we've still got some time left on our appointment. Would you care for one more game?
Sure, we can't pass up a game. What game would you like to play?
Well, before we talk game, let's talk wager. I would like, if I win, there's a very, very generous person that we've spoken to today that mentioned that they've always lost at these games. I would like them to win the next one that they play. That person being Savoy. I believe their appointment's right after ours.
Interesting.
I forgot to ask about.
What would you like to ask?
Can you return Magweed's memories, please? Kind of need those.
All right. But please tell him never to come back again. Or it won't be his memory that he's lost, but his capacity to think at all. And they hand
that?
We've
you,
already lost that.
they hand James a coin that looked very similarly to the one that Sergeant Tabitha found.
I flip it.
It does nothing.
Okay. Did this? Do I like put this on his forehead or?
You can give it to him, and it'll restore his memories.
Okay. Isn't this like the token to get in this place? If I give it to him,
That token means whatever that specific token needs it to be.
oh, okay. Well, all right.
What game is it that you would like to play? Cat Continuum.
I'm gonna guess darts.
No, nothing like that. Kat's gonna just plop down at the table and just sort of wave her hand and be like, you don't need cards or boards or anything like this. We're gonna play a game. It's a variation on a game from about 100 years ago. And just to prove I'm such a good sport, I'm gonna let you go first. So here's the rules. When it's your turn, if you think about the game, you lose. It's your turn. Are you thinking about the game?
The woman's face sitting across from you just goes
Ugh.
from perfectly serene to rage inducing.
This is
And
how
her
we all die.
sister, the other twin, stands between you and her and says, "Well played, Cat Continuum."
She just gives the sisters a wink and just has like a shit-eating grin on her face. Please do give Savoy my regards. Thank you.
Ah! I had the most sad end for this session, and you took it away from me. Why did you do that?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
How would it have ended?
Oh.
With something that Savoy not getting what they wanted. That's all.
Alright. Nice.
You know, even unknowingly, I always have to try to help Savoy be happy in the end.
Just a second.
I mean, they're not going to get the answer that they wanted, but at least it's not as bad as it could be.
At least they get to win.
Okay, so
Up.
you got the twins hand you what looks like a hotel key card. They say, "This will open the door into the second city." And then they hand you a second key card and they say, "This will open the door into the first city." You are going to be looking either in the first, if you go to the first city, you will be looking for the Court of Rust. And if you go to the second city, you will be looking for any of the four courts. However, I would deeply recommend speaking to Autumn or Fall first.
What?
They will know that you are coming and they have seen your daughter and can explain to you a little bit more of what's going on for her.
All right.
Now, Autumn may also have more information about the Alfrey and help you in that regard as well.
And I can bring as many people as I'd like, yes?
You
Through
can
this
bring
door.
your team here. And the
What
two
about my
that are
wife? I
missing.
promised her I'd take her with me.
They sit and they think for a moment and look at each other and they say, fine, you may bring your wife, but you may not bring anybody else. Not Madweed, not the rest of your team. Yes.
I got Nymph.
The little folk don't count.
Okay, well, it's a charged statement. All right.
They smile. They say the little folk can pass between worlds just as quickly and effortlessly as we can. They just
I
cannot.
missed. Did they say that I could bring the wife, but then not the team?
You could bring the wife, but not anybody else outside of your team.
Outside of the team, okay.
Sorry, like if you
Oh,
wanted to bring
lovely.
reinforcements, that would not be allowed.
Hmm. Well, yeah, great. Gotta kill Luther.
Yes. Gotta kill
You know,
Uther.
murder's against the law, right?
And not
Well,
if
I mean,
nobody
it's-
finds out I did it.
It's against a law. It's not really against the law.
So the redhead is suddenly in the room again. You don't know where she went or if she had been there the entire time. And she's there to usher you guys out, and Savoy is waiting on the other side of the door to take their own appointment. Do you?
Wait,
Sorry,
weren't we
go on.
after?
No,
Weren't we
before.
after someone? Oh.
Savoy was before. Or sorry, you were before Savoy
Oh.
by
Okay.
15 minutes.
As we leave, Kat's gonna look to Savoy and go, you know, I've got a good feeling about this appointment for you. Want to make a wager?
Oh boy.
Savoy, what gives you like a world weary look and is just like, I think I ought to be counting the cards that I do have right now. I do appreciate it though.
What
We
cards
all
are
beat
those?
them. We all played a game against them, and we all won.
You must be very lucky.
I beat them at arm wrestling.
Yeah, that's
James
us.
beat them at Jenga, and Kat beat them at. I don't even understand what the hell that was.
It's a game of wits, Daniel. It's a game of wits. That's not everybody can grasp it.
Listen,
What game do you pick, Savoy? Because you might be picking the wrong one.
We're the
I-
Spooks, but you might know us by our lesser known name, the Hot Streak.
Savoy smiles and says, I pick a different game each time that I feel very confident that I can win. And each time
Like what?
my luck must just be out. That's all.
You should try Twister.
Okay, I'll try Twister.
Kat just sort of pats Savoy on the shoulder as she passes and goes, "Oh, maybe I'm your good luck charm," and kind of keeps walking. Also, thank you, Michael, for the $5 donation for 2 plot points. The suggestion is that James finds a stuffed raven with a note to help you get out of a cat problem.
That's great. Will you message that to me so I can add it to my notes?
Sure.
That's gonna come in handy,
Um,
Okay.
especially since Alf is in the game.
It's AUF. It's not the puppet.
It's Elf. We all know it's Elf now.
oh, actually, I do want to. Sorry, James does want to hang back for a second
Yeah.
and kind of secretively try to get a bit away from the others to, because I forgot to ask this question, but I couldn't ask with everyone around either way. But he kind of leans in and Just says, okay, so you know my name. I'd love to know how many people know it.
There are 4 people in this city that know your name as it is, but they won't do anything with it.
All right. I can work with that. And now he goes back to the redhead.
Sweet. The redhead's all sweet and chirpy and excited. So you
The
guys.
redhead's not a real person. It's like a puppet.
Oh
You
no,
can't flirt with.
the
Listen.
redheads are definitely real creatures.
Listen, whatever you say, paradise is what James would call this.
Hey,
That's fair.
golems are kind of people too.
It's
You
true.
know.
You're not wrong.
Listen, there's no barriers, all right? There's no barriers. I surpass all of them.
Okay. I'm gonna leave that one alone. So our end of the round, or end of the episode. Goodness, I
Session.
can't talk. Session. Little umph at the end. Because Kat did get Savoy a win. Savoy, unfortunately, does not get the information that they were hoping for. And leaves the Ravens for the last time very downtrodden. It's definitely not as bad as it could be, but for them it is not a happy ending.
Did they win at Twister though? Is Twister the game they played? Is that the mental image that we leave with?
I can't imagine Savoy playing Twister, but I can imagine Zahil playing Twister.
Same.
So yes, let's go with it. Zahil
have-
played the Ravens and played them in Twister. But as you guys are also like kind of rounding up and getting everything ready to leave the casino, somewhere outside distantly, those many multiple eyes and shadows and reaching claws and smoky darkness seem to be getting thicker and thicker and more pervasive over the city. And this will be the highest crime night before sunrise that the city has seen in a very long time.
Yeesh. Did we bring Magweed?
I would assume so, that you dragged Magweed out.
We kind of
No, we're-
promised, so
The episode is like it's panning to a nice sunrise. The credits come up. Wait, hold on.
Magweed.
Right.
okay.
This coin. Take that.
Well, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun. Thanks, guys.
Complicated stuff going on.
Yeehaw.
Can't believe we just
Oh goodness.
played them without like being smarter about it.
I mean, I'm really impressed though. You guys, you like literally like the stakes on the line are worse than your characters could come up with.
Mhm.
Listen, man.
So
Gotta
Yeah,
take
it's
risks.
just over there, like, oh, you're just opening with the rest of your life. Yeah, that seems like a smart thing to do. Just
He's a dad. He doesn't care what happens to him. He's also depressed. Like all he wants is his daughter, and the rest
You
is
see-
not
Fair.
important.
you
I'm
should be
thinking-
very glad that they are not Fae, though.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, when they said
Oh,
that,
good
Solid
equal
episode.
value, rough.
Yay!
Well,
I
Solid.
really want to know if you guys figured out who they were, though. I feel like I left some very obvious hints, but just in case.
What does that mean?
I have a suspicion that
Yeah, me too.
What's their names?
They're Odin's friends.
Yeah.
Yes?
You'll be pleased to know I have no idea.
Odin has 2 ravens, and Murin or something like that, I think, is one of
Munin
them.
and Munin.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
They are thought and memory.
That's appropriate. I'm just still tickled to death that I was able to get them with the game.
So
I
if there's
almost
4
didn't
people
give
that
it to
know
you.
James's name, there's going to be both of them, Odin, because he sees everything they see, and that means he's in the city. And then there's someone else, which I'm assuming are someone on your enemies list.
I don't like it.
Well, I mean, technically James knows his own name and he's in the city.
That is also true. Oh, looks
I
like you're
believe
in the clear.
he specified who else knows my name.
Oh, who else? Nuts. So it's
That's
just
true.
Odin that we know and 3 other people.
Who else? Who else? Yeah.
Anyways, that was amazing. Thank you
That's
so
it.
much, Ez.
Yay!
Let's do our favorite parts and everything. We'll start with you, Yes. What was your favorite part of the session, and where can we find you online? And of course, anything else you'd like to promote or share.
My favorite. You guys just always like keep me on my toes. So choosing games that I did not anticipate you guys choosing, definitely my favorite. You guys care so much about magweed, and that makes me happy.
He's on our side, you know. He's part of the game.
It's just like it's really sweet. Like I was like, I'm gonna stick magweed in here. The last game he was in, he got his head torn off. So
Look, it's too charismatic, all right?
So those are my favorite things. You can find me on Friday next week. I don't think I'll be available Wednesday for Exodus. The following week I will be back for Exodus. And my website is studio-tart.com, and that's essentially the other place that you can find me, as I'm constantly updating my portfolio and my work and apparel that's available for everybody. Yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. Next we've got Par. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you online? Anything else you'd like to share or promote?
I quite love my just obliviousness. I did not hear the word redhead till over halfway through the session, which is a thing. I was expecting it to come out at any point during this. I was like, what are the chances we encounter a redhead during this? Surprise!
Ta-da!
That's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
I would also like to say that James is open to all redhead options.
Good to know.
Just saying, ain't no box put him in.
So if there's anyone in chat who happens to have red hair,
Ain't no box put him in. Sorry, that's my favorite moment, but I'm just saying.
Oh, that's great.
And the wit and sexual for redhead.
Love
Okay.
it.
Then where can we find you and all that good stuff?
You can find me on Twitter at LTALIG. I really should change that.
you should.
Yeah, I should. It links to an old YouTube channel way back. It's a whole rough process. I'll change that eventually. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Mr. Parr. How easy to say. So much easier than my last name. Also,
Fantastic.
Mr. spelled out, MISTER, Parr, like in golf. Can't find me anywhere else just yet. I'm still trying to set up some other things, some other fun things to have. Hopefully, I shall have a book out by the end of this year. So I'll let you know that. Hopefully, I get done with that. And that's me wrapped.
All right. Paladin, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you? And anything else you want to share?
Well, while I liked a lot of stuff today, the thing I didn't like was that our fellow cast members weren't here because I missed them. I would have enjoyed seeing what they would come up with during all of this because having an incredibly straight-laced character in blanking on the name right now because I'm an idiot. But like that would have been awesome, and we got to miss that, and that's sad. But my favorite part was like Yaz had some really cool descriptions of things that I liked. Like the skylight was cool, and the tree door was cool. I just there was a moment where I got to sit there and was like, this is really cool.
Yay!
Usually you're really into the thing, and those are things that I get to sit back and just enjoy, and that was my favorite part, and that's been my favorite part throughout the whole series as well, and I'm pretty confident it's going to be my favorite part next time. Who knows?
I mean, that
Someone-
moment where we just chatted was great.
That was good too. I'm glad I pushed for that. That was a solid bit of just, you need that. It can't all be danger and, tense conversations. Sometimes you just say, so, you talk about sports or whatever.
I'm super hyped for any kind of role playing. So if any moment I don't notice that there's a really great opportunity, you can be like, "Whoa, I got some stuff to say." I'll be like, "Okay."
Yeah, and we should all take advantage of that because it's you get good stuff like that. Anyway, where you can find me next, not this Sunday, but the one after that, I'll return as Holt, the pirate paladin who tries to make friends with all the evil pirates. Going pretty well. Last session, I took over as the quartermaster, and I'm building a store. And right as I finished building the store, the first mate was like, "You know what? That store's going to be the brig now. Too bad. You can move all that stuff right out." And then I was sad. I'm also in a one shot that's coming up in like a month where I get to talk to a ghost. That's going to be run by a cleric of Cord. Very much looking forward to that. It's going to be exciting. And I just today, while the game was going on, signed up to, because I multitask, I signed up to do like a play test kind of a thing with a new game that Nerdburger Games is putting out, where we play vampires who are doing basic stuff like that movie What We Do in the Shadows. It should be like that. It's totally new, totally untested, and I'm looking forward to that as well. That's it.
Awesome. My favorite part, I've got to pick besting Odin's Ravens with a 2000s meme. That's way up there in highlights. But other than
Swear
that,
to God.
You had me on the edge of my seat. It was like, oh my God, what you gonna do? And then it was that. And it was like, ugh.
It was literally one thing or the other.
Yeah, I thought this is gonna be super clever, and then it was that, and I was like, oh my God.
still super clever. I think
It's still clever, but not in the way I was
cringy.
anticipating.
Yeah, the meme, that was fun. But also, I have to second all the descriptions and everything. Like, my vision of this world and all the characters is so clear because of all the fantastic descriptions. And I really, really like that. So yeah, the meme thing was great, but also I really enjoyed the interactions with Savoy. I am, of course, a little bit biased, having had a lot of previous interactions with that character in a different game. But I really, really enjoyed seeing how Kat interacted with Savoy. Which is very different from how like Tilda, obviously, or even Dick interacted with Savoy. So that was a lot of fun too. You can find me next tomorrow at 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. For Animus Absentus, I'll be GMing that. We just saved one of the characters' little brothers from a big galactic-wide cartel, and they are pursuing the party right now. So they're not out of the woods yet, but it's still pretty exciting. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I might be streaming some more Phasmophobia, ghost hunting, spooky game. Might stream some more of that tonight, maybe some tomorrow before Animus as well. I'll announce it on Twitter if I do. And then after that, you can find me again on Tuesday for Hunters of Calamity 2. That's also at 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, which is 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Yeah, I think that's about it. Other things to announce. We've got, you may have noticed, we've got new break music, break and intro music. You can find that and listen to that anytime that you'd like on Patreon. That is free for everyone. But there's also different soundtracks for the different shows that you can download if you're a patron. Also a ton of art that goes up all the time as I add things to my portfolio. Before it gets added to my portfolio, the high resolution versions go up on Patreon, so you can see those there, use them as desktop backgrounds, whatever you want to do. A lot of cool stuff on there, and it super helps support me. Also, recently added things for a few of the tiers. You get exclusive merch for being subscribed as a patron for 3 months. For example, the Bard tier patrons just got, I think, a sticker that went out. It's the Raven Evermore exclusive sticker. You can't find it anywhere else. So a lot of really cool stuff on Patreon that you can do. And then also, as a heads up, I'm currently working on adding a soundtrack for this game. So next week we should have background music and stuff going on too. And some of the tracks I found are really cool. So I'm excited for that as well. And there's one more thing I needed to announce. Not tomorrow, but the next Saturday we're doing a fundamental RPG one-shot called The Immortals, where the characters that you play are have limited immortality, so they can be from literally any time period that you'd like, and the game itself will be set in a modern time frame. There are still, I think, 3 spots open for that out of 6 total players. So if you would like to play in that, just hit me up on Twitter or on Discord and let me know, and I'll get you into the game. And that'll be Saturday at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 2 p.m. Eastern. Again, not tomorrow, but the following Saturday. And I think that is everything. So we're going to go on a raid. We've got our raid cry, which is, are you thinking about the game? And we're going to go raid Tall Squall. Phenomenal human being in general. Great role player. Does some incredible cosplays as well. Definitely give him a follow if you're not doing so already. He's currently playing some World of Warcraft, actually. So yeah, go say hi to them, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.